Kalimera, kalispera, kalinichta. No matter where in this wild, wacky, and sometimes wonderful world you might be, thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. Listen, Squaddies, don't say I don't do nice things for you. Let's rock and roll.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Like I said, boys and girls, don't lie, all right? I do special things for you. It is an honor. I have been waiting for a conversation with this legend. If I rattled off everything she's won in football, we could be here all night. But it's league champion, European champion, Serie A champion. It goes on and on and on. And now one of the best broadcasters out there. Welcome to Squad Central, one of our favorites. The Squaddies are going to lose their shit, Leanne. Welcome.
Oh, thanks, so honestly, we speak a lot, whether it be on Instagram or WhatsApp and stuff. And like, I'm just delighted that I've been able to join you when we are European champions again. Like, you couldn't write a better story. So yeah, I'm buzzing. What a week it's been. It's been incredible.
It really has. Before we kick off, the Squaddies love you and we really admire you, the work you're doing. You're a player that's transitioned from being a great broadcaster. Your evolution in broadcasting is amazing. As a woman, I'm a big fan. And I have to say, like, thank you so much for your time. You've been smashing it this season and we're really proud of you as Gooners. We know you love the club. And you mentioned like the journey, right? From these days and unbelievable team that won everything, dominated football, the Trailblazers. You led the way, very much like I say to our listeners, because I spend time with the US women's national team. I actually spoke to Foxy last night, asked her if Katie McCabe had recovered, Leanne. But the US women's national team led the way for other federations to pick up the game in football. You and the rest of that squad and Vic Akers, who we had on the show last night, to go from there to what you witnessed the other day. Talk us through it.
I mean, it's just nothing but emotion. You know, the fact that Vic Akers actually found me when I was 9 years old in Southeast London. And for me to go on to play for his first team, youngest ever player at 14, to then, you know, play for England when I was 16, 17, it's all down to Vic, really. Obviously, my mum and dad and, you know, the connections I had with the fans and growing up at Arsenal, playing at Highbury in the JVC Centre. But like, what I love about this football club, now, before people decide to come after me sometimes, I'm a Man United men's fan. Arsenal women are my team. They are in my blood. And the fans still love me for that because they know how much I love this football club. And Vic, you know, he's just an incredible guy. And I'm just glad that he was able to be there at the weekend. You know, he was on the charter flight, which is 150% what he deserves to be. And, you know, him and Mr. David Dean after the game, they're at the celebrations, at the after party. Lewis Barr-Malte was there. Mickey Thomas was there. Like, it was just brilliant. Like, and, you know, like, this club does things the right way. It doesn't get 100% right. No one does every single time. But the fact they've got our picture alongside the Invincibles outside the Emirates, I just take great pride in that. And, you know, yes, we did it in 2007, but I want the girls now to have their time to shine, and they deserve it. And I love what Katie McCabe actually said with regards to someone asked her in an interview, is this the best ever thing that's happened to the Arsenal women? And she said the second, because we did it. And I just think there's this real connection, very family friendly feeling around the club. We got invited for lunch last week at the training ground. Unfortunately, 5 of us could make it because it was kind of a last minute thing. But for me, I wouldn't have missed it for the world. I was able to change around one of my shows I was doing and to get to go there to the training ground. I know a lot of the girls anyway, some I hadn't met before. And like, I was trying to contain my feelings and excitement because I didn't want to offload that and make them nervous, you know. But I thanked Mariana Caldente for signing for us because for me, she was always going to be world-class before she got to us. And the fact that she's come to Arsenal, you know, won it the last 2 times with Barcelona. They were going for their 3P. She comes to Arsenal and we win the Champions League for the first time since 2007. Like, just amazing. And the parade was incredible. I co-hosted down there, you know, at the parade and the fans. And it was amazing. Like, everyone was lining the streets, you know. It reminded me of, like, remember, obviously, you know, Fever Pitch.
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
With Colin Firth. Like, it was just like that feeling of like fans and hanging out. This woman was doing her garden and she went to me, "Oh, the girl's got a parade today." She was like, "I'm coming along." Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just this feeling of like excitement. And I feel like the players, yes, they've been drinking heavily for the last however many days, but you don't get these opportunities to celebrate so because they're already back in camp. Like Steph Catley, Caitlin flown to Australia. Emily Fox landed in America. And I think it's absolutely brilliant that all of these nations have done guards of honor, flags. Like, it was amazing with Emily Fox, like Lindsay Heaps plays for Lyon, obviously, lost to us in the semi-final. She was one of the first people to congratulate Emily Fox when she got to the team hotel with their flags. And it was just amazing.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I spoke to Emily yesterday briefly, and the reception that she's had, and I spoke to Naomi Girma as well just beforehand. And of course, with Chelsea, she's had an amazing season. But you're right, like seeing all of it's so celebratory, and I think there's a purity still in the women's game. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned some of the players. But the transition in this team, Leanne, really, I know it hasn't gone well in the league, but what Renee Sleggers has been able to do in 7 months, I mean, I think fans who follow women's football know what it means to beat Lyon and Barcelona to win the Champions League in this era of football. We had Vic Akers on last night. He actually told us that Jonas had never reached out to him in all the time that he was at Arsenal. Our jaws dropped. We couldn't believe it. What we love about you is, you might support Man United men's team, but your heart and your soul and your history with this club and what you're able to transmit to other players, seeing you and Wrighty on the pitch together, there's a connectivity. Talk to us about Renee a little bit. And are you shocked? Are you surprised that Jonas hadn't reached out to Vic? He said at an FA, he was with a friend of his, and he said that, look, this guy's just going to walk past me. He has no idea who I am at an FA Awards, show. And he said Renee's the opposite. They've had lunch, they've connected. Of course, she's been part of the club, in the history as well. Talk us through that a little bit, Leanne.
Yeah, I think Renee really recognises the history of the football club. I said to Vic at the lunch, I said it was a lovely touch because you could sit anywhere you wanted. So like, I sat with Alessia because I know her, and like me and Yank sat together. We all sat together, but it wasn't like, this is your seat, you need to sit there. But I thought it was a nice touch that Renee and Vic sat together, just those two at lunch, at the front chatting. And I know how much that would have meant to Vic. It would have meant so much to him because he does feel at times he's been forgotten about from the exterior. And, for someone like Jonas, I don't know him, but I worked with him quite a bit in American Now. He's obviously with San Diego. So I'm sure he didn't do it intentionally, but at the same time, I think there's more of a connection because Renee was actually at the academy when I was in the first team, which I didn't realize. When I first met her after the Bayern Munich game at Boreham Wood, I said, "Oh, nice to meet you." And she was like, "I remember you." And telling everyone at the lunch, she said to the girls, she's like, "Do you realize how great of a player she was?" Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, not that I got forgotten about, it's not about me, but it made me feel good that she actually knew me as a player. And she was like, "I don't feel like you got the credit and the respect you deserved." I said, "This isn't about me, this is about you." And I think one thing she's brought to this club is the fact that the composure, the calmness, she's a lovely person. Like, she just has a lot of time for people. I think she recognizes what it means to be managing Arsenal Football Club. And I said to her as well, like, she didn't really want the job based upon the fact she didn't feel like she was ready yet, which I completely understand that, because they all wanted her from the moment she got there and obviously went on that unbeaten run. They were like, "We want Renee long-term now." But she was probably thinking in her head, this is a massive job. She's not had the most experience. She's still pretty young. But now to do this in a short space of time, we lost to Bayern Munich, less than a year ago, Real Madrid. Now to go on to win it with these players. And I've said it many times, like, yes, she's tactically astute, tactically aware, but you just need someone that also is a facilitator, like Vic did with us, that believed in us. We knew our roles and responsibilities and had that open and honest communication. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. The achievement is really amazing, and it just shows you what a managerial change can do to players and hearing a new voice and stuff like that. I'm gonna play this question from Albert. He's my podcast brother from a South London mother, and he's out and about doing his Hermes delivery flash git. But he's a huge fan. He co-hosts our women's show as well through the season. And I wanted to get your take on this.
Yes, Sophie and Highbury Squad community. Squaddies at ease. Leanne, absolute pleasure to meet you virtually. My question is, I'm a great believer you need to strengthen from a position of strength. Where do you still feel that Arsenal, even though being European champions, can get better? And what personnel would you like to see arrive at Arsenal, either domestically or across Europe?
Ooh,
And that goes to the WSL, doesn't it? Is Arsenal should be doing better in the WSL. It's not nitpicking. It's just like, right, now go win the title.
Yeah, I mean, Barcelona still are the best team in the world. Although we're European champions, like Barcelona are my favourite team to watch. They're incredible. And I've said Marina Caldente coming in, for me, world class. You know, I think we've got a lot of good players, great players, but the world class is someone like Marina Caldente. I think Alessia Russo has that as well. I think under a manager like Renee Sleggers that believes in Alessia, look what can happen. Not taking her in and out of the team. I still think we need to strengthen centrally in the midfield area. I still think we need somebody almost in that attacking midfield role. I think Freedom Ornum is a top player, but I still think we need more. And I also think we need positional strengthening, like players coming off the bench, because, you know, Chloe Kelly still hasn't fully signed. We have to wrap that up ASAP. You know, that needs to be done because she's still on loan. Beth Mead could potentially, like, if Chloe stays, does that mean then Beth then moves on? Potentially, because Beth could get in any team, probably in world football, let alone in the WSL. So I still think centrally in those midfield areas is where, you know, I'd like to strengthen. If I had a player that I could bring to Arsenal, it would be Trinity Rodman. That would be somebody that I would love to come to Arsenal. You know, Trinity Rodman. I love her as a player. I work in the NWSL, so I'd want her to stay in the NWSL, but I have a feeling that if she does eventually move, or Sophia Wilson, those two would be my dream signings for Arsenal.
You know, Trinity Rodman, I always think if Leanne was playing, because you brought young women to football, not only because you were super talented, but you had this edge and you had this style. And, you know, young people, men and women follow that. And Trinity Rodman reminds me a little bit of you as well. Like I say to myself, if Leanne was playing today, she would be the #1 rock star in football. With her, not only her persona, her character, the way she plays, her attitude, her look, her vibe, one of the most marketable players I've seen in women's football. And I think Trinity Rodman is kind of the closest thing to that. She's got this superstar vibe that she could take the game to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest compliment I could ever have. But I get what you're saying, because obviously she doesn't like to be linked to her dad. But like, her dad was quite iconic in how he dressed, his hair and all the earrings and the piercings. And I completely get what you're saying. Similar to Natasha Kai. They remember Tash Kai, like all the tattoos, like the kids used to come to games and have like these fake arm sleeves.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was more than a footballer. Like, I completely agree with you. The kids used to love me because they used to come with like these fake mohawks. And some of their parents actually let them cut their hair and bleach it and do all these different things. And I was like, sorry about that. Make sure you check with the school. I don't want you getting in trouble. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of players like Megan Rapinoe that were more than just footballers. Being a footballer is the biggest like compliment, biggest thing you could ever do. But there's more than just football. And I feel like Trinity Rodman, I completely get what you're saying. Like, and I think she's just, I wish I had her pace, to be honest. I think she's going from the front like she can. But yeah, I think she's top.
Okay, we'll get you out on a couple more here. I wanted to just get your take on a couple of players like Lee and also the legend that is Kim Little. You mentioned Alessia Russo, who's just been a rock star this season as well. Players that you're happy for all the players, but certain players that your heart melts to see them in this moment. Who are those players, Leanne?
I'd say Leah Williamson, Lotta Wubben-Moy. I know Lotta only came on for a few minutes in that game, but players that have been at the club for a long time. And Kim Little, I mean, she signed for us a year after we won everything. And when I said to her the other day, I said, do you know the story of that we thought you were Fleets' mate? Judy Fleeting brought her from Scotland, and Fleets used to fly in every single game, right? That's how good she was. Like, Vic used to get her flown in for every game, never used to train or anything. We loved Fleets for that. Then Kim joins, but Vic never even told us. And I said that to Vic after the party. I said, you do know that you didn't realize, you didn't tell us that Kim was our teammate. He was like, yeah, I did. We were all like, no, you didn't. And then when I said to Kim the other day, I said, you do realize we thought you were just Fleets' mate? Like, we didn't realize that you were a baller. So Vic obviously found her. Julie Fleeting brought her abroad.
Wow.
And then, you know, she went over for a few years in America, got MVPs with the Seattle Reign. And then for me, like, Kim is a woman of not many words. She doesn't like the public eye. She doesn't like speaking. But in the after party thing at the Emirates after the parade with the friends and family, Kim got on the mic and she wrote a whole speech on a bit of paper and read it. Because, you know, sometimes those situations, like Katie McCabe doesn't need a second invitation like me to take a mic. There's some players like Stina Black-Stenius, Kim Little, you know, it's difficult for those types of players in those moments. So for someone like Kim, for Leah, that's like was our mascot in 2007, to grow up at the club and to win it, like, it just means so much. And a lot of people message me saying they feel like I won it again, because that's felt genuinely like that feeling of like the team winning. Like, I feel like I won it. Like when the Lionesses heroes, I felt emotional because I was so happy, but I didn't feel connected because of how the FA had made me feel, how my career and all that type of stuff. Whereas with Arsenal, because they've always kept me involved and because they always reach out to me, check in on me and all that type of stuff, like, it just makes you feel part of it. And that was, this is at the parade after, you know, after the hotel. And, you know, I had so many messages, people inviting me to the after party with the friends and family. And like, that made me feel really good, you know, that people wanted me there. So I can't thank the club enough. And I'm just so proud of the players. And hopefully this means that, you know, there could be a domino effect for the Euros. We'll have to wait and see.
Fingers crossed. Right, I'm going to get you out on a fun one. We know you love America. We know you love your music and Coachella. Demi and our other women's co-hosts, and women's football is always stronger when men support it, no doubt about that. He's Miley Cyrus, percussionist, so he's got a fun question for you. It might be too much hard work. You might have to get back to us, but here we go.
Leanne, you absolute legend. Thank you so much for coming to our show. I have a question for you that is non-football related, but music related. If you could put together a band with 4 former teammates of yours, what instruments would they play? Which song would you like to play? And where would you like to perform? Thank you.
Well, that's a difficult question. I might be able to answer a couple of them because there's a couple of people that spring to mind. I can't sing to save my life, but I'm karaoke queen. And I wouldn't want to be a backing singer, so I'd have to be the main singer because I love the microphone. I love being the center of attention. But Emma Byrne would definitely be in there, 100%. In some capacity, because Emma, the Irish girls, when we won everything and when we were there, like, it was just brilliant. I'm trying to think of Alex Scott, probably, because she was always the DJ on our team.
Brilliant.
And if I'm thinking of someone else, who else would be someone? They have to be an Arsenal teammate or anywhere.
No, any teammate.
Probably Jill Scott, because we always used to dance together
England.
before games.
Nice.
Probably Jill Scott, because we were the ones that danced in the changing room before a big game. Like, that's what we did. So they would probably be any of the Irish girls, Alex and Jill. They love their music. So, but I would definitely be the main person.
Are you playing Coachella or are you playing Wembley Stadium?
Oh, I went to Coachella. Oh, Coachella was amazing. Ooh, I'm going to have to go with Coachella. But Wembley, I mean, Live Aid, everything is iconic, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, brilliant. Well, Leanne, we know you're busy. Thank you so much for your time. You're absolutely epic. If you're living under a rock, you can follow Leanne here. She's on Instagram, on X, fighting the good fight for women's football. And let everyone know, are you still doing the women's football show with Talksport?
Our last show was Monday night, but we're doing one for the Euros. So yeah, watch this space.
Oh, amazing.
Like a preview show and that type of stuff, because obviously the season's ending now.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Leanne. From the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate you. You absolute legend, and promise to come back, okay?
Absolutely. Anytime you need me, Soph, I'm here.
Love it. And Squaddies at ease. Don't forget to tell your loved ones you love them. See you guys.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
I mean, come on now.